Oh boy, here we go. It is time again for the weekly interactive live chat. I want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in for this week. And yeah, I'm Illusionist and Sperry, the anti-conjuror, and this is my weekly live chat. The past couple times we've done this, I've mentioned how we used to do it all the time, but I think we get that by now. And I wanted to say thank you for tuning in. This is where I asked you in the chat, but this is where I am going to ask you to like the video and share it to your page on your Twitter or Instagram or whatever else you use, MySpace, LinkedIn, Farmers Only, whatever you want, whatever you got going on over there. I don't know, Christian mingle, the whole gamut. Spread it around. But spread this around. Don't spread other stuff. If you know what I'm saying. Oh, what's up, Draven? William Draven's in the chat. If you guys ever come to Vegas, you need to go on the Haunted Vegas tour that's owned by a buddy of mine and one of the guys in the chat, William Draven. He's a really great host of this tour. It's a great tour that takes you around Vegas to all the old secret places, mob stuff. I think you guys even take people to like where Tupac got shot and stuff, right? Where there's all the rumors and everything. A Haunted Vegas tour. Look it up and make sure you get William Draven as your host of that, and you'll definitely have a good time. So thanks again for tuning in. There's a lot going on for this week. Thanks, Austin Kinsey. Kissing Candace shirt. Yeah, I'm wearing my Kissing Candace shirt. Some of my buddies are in this band called Kissing Candace. Worth looking up if you guys are not familiar with them. Kissing Candace. Give them a like, a follow, and check out some of their music. I'm actually going to be talking about Kissing Candace later in the chat. And I'm a little tired. I didn't sleep. My sleeping schedule has been really cattywampus. I don't know about you guys, but it's like now it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, I don't have a regular sleep schedule. It's not like I had a regular sleep schedule before this lockdown happened, but now I definitely don't have a normal, I guess you'd say normal sleep schedule. I fall asleep by 8 o'clock at night sometimes, and then I'm up at like 4, or I'm up till 4 or 5, and then I sleep to there's no in between. There's no in between. So I'm a little jittery. Part of the problem, though, I'll be honest. Part of the problem is that I discovered something on the internet that's been keeping me awake at night a bit. Not every night, but sometimes. It's an online game that my buddies introduced me to, and it's free. It's called Fortnite. I don't know if any of you guys play Fortnite or anything like that, but I've been introduced to Fortnite. I'm not really a gamer. And so it's taken me a bit. I'm by no means good at it, that's for sure. If you guys do play Fortnite, my screen name is Gothfather211. So if you guys play Fortnite, you can look me up, add me as a friend, and follow me online on Fortnite. And if I'm up, if I'm up and about and whatnot, usually I play it like when I'm rendering videos and stuff like that, sitting at my computer. I'll jump on and try and go run around and collect the boxes and take over whatever, you know. Yeah, I see Draven. Yeah, I've become I wouldn't say addicted to it, but I've definitely, they got their claws in me. Hunter Bivens, do you play on PC? Yeah, I play on PC. Like I said, I'm not a gamer. I've never really been a gamer by any means, but I play on my PC. I have an Alienware laptop that I use because I need like the graphics processors and all that high-end stuff. So I guess I have a gaming laptop. I do have a gamer's type laptop, but I use it to play Fortnite. So if you guys happen to play Fortnite, look me up, Godfather211, add me up, or even if you don't, then that's fine. You can always see me here on the live chat every week. So yeah, I've been busy playing Fortnite. This is the game. You play like all sorts of different characters. You can play as a banana. Deadpool's on there. I don't really understand. Like, I don't understand seasons or whatever. I guess this is like season 48 of Fortnite. I have no idea what that truly means. I mean, I know what seasons mean, but I didn't know that video games had seasons. I thought it was, you know, more like an annual thing, like NHL 99 or something. EB Games. That's about all I know as far as that goes. Amberlyn, if I have that shirt and a sleeveless, love to buy it. This isn't my shirt, actually. This is my friend's band, Kissing Candace. We had talked about them earlier, and like I said, I'm going to talk about them a bit later in the live chat. Oh, Kevin, yeah, rather geocaching. Unfortunately, there's no new geocaches around my warehouse or around my house or anywhere that I usually go in Vegas. I found them all, and there's not a whole lot new going on there. But yeah, this is a great thing. It's Kissing Candace's shirt, but it's a spin-off of Goosebumps. If you guys remember the old Goosebumps stories, at least those of you that are maybe in the States in North America, you remember Goosebumps. But it was a story thing for kids, like scary stories for kids, basically back in the day. And you know, at the time they were really eerie and spooky and all this and that with these, yeah, they're kid stories. Maybe I should start reading Goosebumps for the anti-conjuror story time. Maybe I should go that route. Yeah. Shoot, what was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought. But oh yeah, so the Magic Show shirt hanging by me. Sorry, thank you for the clarification. No, we don't sell the Magic Show T-shirts in sleeveless, but if you buy one of these from dansperrystore.com, you can just cut the sleeves off, and there you go, sleeveless T-shirt. Job done. Easy, right? Not feeling it? Okay. But yeah, and I've been doing another project recently that I was up late doing, and I was just sharing it with you guys right now. So I have a retirement home for my doves, right? When my doves that I use in the show reach a certain age, I sort of retire them, or around a certain age, right around 12 years old, 10 to 12 years old. I'll see how they're feeling with performing, and if I feel like they're getting a bit too much older, I'll just put them into retirement so they can chill out and live the rest of their twilight years just hanging out and relaxing, getting fat and all that stuff, like I guess like what people do when they retire. I don't know. So I have them in my garage, and I have an air conditioner and air purifiers in there and everything, but they don't need the whole garage. And with doves, they create like a dander and a dust that can get on things, and it's a real pain in the butt. I can't, it's hard to keep up with the cleaning. So I made a temporary wall in my garage. I built it. It was my little day project yesterday, and I made this temporary wall structure with a door, so like all the dove stuff can stay on the one side, and then the air conditioner doesn't have to air condition the whole garage space, which is unnecessary. It just needs to be on the birds. So basically, I made this whole thing, and basically my neighbors were like walking by or driving by and slowing down. I mean, my neighbors already, I'm fairly certain, think I'm a psychopath or a weirdo. Like they never talk to me. We don't really converse at all. And so this is the wall that I put up, and it's sideways. I don't know how to rotate it, but you get the idea. If you turn your head, it basically looks like I made like a grow house for marijuana. Now I think what they think is that I'm making drugs in my garage. So if I go missing or I get falsely arrested or accused, I'm just putting it out there right now so you guys can see. You saw it first that this is not a grow house. It's for my birds, and they're just chilling out in there. But yeah, it totally looks like. Not that I know what that looks like. I mean, I watched Breaking Bad, and I've seen weeds back in the day. So that's basically what I'm getting at is, hand to God and granddad. That's not. I'm not making drugs. It hasn't become that dire in the quarantine and the shutdown at this point to where I'm making and selling drugs. But it sure looks like it, I guess. So yeah, so that's what I've been working on. So I was up late dealing with that and putting that together and all the distractions that come with it. I did see somebody in the chat though. Speaking of projects and the lockdown and the quarantine, Maureen. Yeah, I still have the Indiana Jones backyard and other themed rooms in my house that I've made over the years. One of my bathrooms is all hockey stuff, Minnesota Wild and Golden Knights, and yeah, I mean maybe someday I'll post some more videos, but that's stuff that I kind of or photos, stuff that I kind of like to keep a little private. I share little sprinkles over the years of what I've been working on, but I saw in the chat earlier someone was asking about the Poconos shows. Yes, unfortunately, it appears that the shows in the Poconos at the end of May, my 2 shows there at the 2 different resorts, have been canceled. We're working on trying to do like a rescheduling to try and see if we can figure out a time in the next few months, probably after summer, to reschedule and get me back there. So if anybody, right, Alex Murray, MTV Cribs, I should just do like a Dove edition, MTV Dove Cribs, right? So unfortunately, yes. I'm not sure if you guys have gotten refunded, but once we get anything finalized, anybody who bought tickets to these shows, you'll either get refunded or it can be credited towards whenever we reschedule. So hang on, I gotta put that in the lower third so anybody tuning in knows kind of what we're talking about. The Pocono shows at the end of May, going to be rescheduled. Hopefully, it's just what's really hard with entertainment right now is finding these times that's good because everybody's trying to reschedule, right? So it's sort of like a mad dash to get dates that work together and route well, in the best manner. So, usually you try and build a route so you're hitting place A, B, C, if that makes sense. So that helps with like the financial side of the investing. It's a whole big thing, but I think you get what I'm talking about. It's a whole lot to go into, right? To try and discuss what's happening. So unfortunately, yes, that did get postponed, hopefully rescheduled, and as I mentioned, we're going to, fingers crossed, hopefully have that up and happening very soon. But I guess in other news too, this is where I've been getting a lot of. I had mentioned last week and the week before these virtual shows. That's sort of becoming a thing. These virtual shows where because of the quarantine and the lockdown, the shows have to happen through the screen, which is really interesting. And we've done a few of them. I know some people maybe that are in the chats have emailed about them. But what's difficult, so it takes me a while because there's a lot of things to go through. So it's not just like booking a regular show with these interactive streaming shows. It's actually more or less like it is very custom. So having to go through a very specific questionnaire, making sure that the connections that everybody has are solid, so there's not a lag, there's nothing they're going to get cut out or dropped from the live feed for the show. So if you've inquired about them, then that's why if you haven't heard back yet, it's just taking a minute. And I've been really slammed working on my taxes. I've kind of ran out of gas right now. I don't know about you guys, but I felt like initially with the lockdown, it was like I've described before, it was almost like, oh my God, snow day, no school tomorrow, like let's go crazy or whatever. And then over the weeks, I kind of ran out of gas. I went in a dip. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of ran out of gas. That's the only way to describe it. I went into like a dip where it was just like, now I don't know what to do. So I just decided to start doing my taxes, and now I'm too deep and involved in those, and then building a fake grow house for the doves, right? But there's been some interesting stuff though that I still keep an eye on. I still, of course, watch and keep an eye on a lot of these UFO sightings, and naturally, if you guys have been watching these live chats, that UFO sightings is something that we talk about every week. It's going to be one of the sections, and there's a really cool one that I saw that I'm going to bring up right now. So get excited! Time for some weekly UFO sightings. this one I think is actually really really good. It was caught on a cell phone, right? So it was caught on a dude's cell phone. It plays for about a minute, and it's a little hard to see initially, but what ends up happening is it becomes a triangle of lights. Yeah, Chris, exactly. Actually, right now, since the coronavirus sort of started, there's been a spike in UFO sightings, and I'm assuming that's just because people are sitting at home and they got nothing else to do. They're not driving, they're not focused on work. They're looking at they're looking out their windows, I guess, essentially is kind of what's going on here. But there's been a 30-year spike in UFO sightings, and the last one was, what was it? It was in 1989. That was the last spike in UFO sightings, was in 1989, and the spike that happened in 89 was the most common UFO sightings reported were these like flying triangles, sort of like if you guys have watched anything about the Phoenix Lights. So the Phoenix Lights, the Phoenix Lights were this sighting that happened in Phoenix, over Phoenix. It lasted over two nights, but there was the main night. The big main night was where there was the big array of these lights, and they actually made a triangle. There's reports of people that said these lights flew over their house, they flew over their yard, and they were able to almost. I think the way to try to describe it is like sort of like. It's you can see a structure. There was a structure to these lights. There was a structure, but it was so dark out, sort of like it wasn't invisible. Like you could see, but sort of like when you're in a dark room, like let's say you're playing hide and seek or whatever. I don't know, bad analogy, or you're playing 7 minutes in the closet or whatever you're into inside closets. But when it's pitch dark and you're in there with somebody else, or maybe you're walking through a haunted house maze and it's super dark, and you can see in the darkness that there is somebody there, but your eyes can't adjust to it. That's sort of what it sounds like this is similar to, and this is what people were reporting with the Phoenix Lights, was these triangles, this triangle of these lights, this formation, and that's what was really famous, or the major spike in 1989. And now we're in the next spike. Since 1989, there's been more UFO reports of sightings of mysterious objects of various kinds, and since this corona lockdown has happened, and that's sort of what this video falls into. And as I was saying, it's a cell phone video, but there is at one point, there comes a point where you can get a really good view of this triangular formation, and at least in the case of the Phoenix Lights, people, right, Avery, people said it was a plane, but a plane that massive, come on, that's crazy. Or or flares, or it was weather balloons, I don't know. But take a look at this video, and have a look. Like I said, it's on a cell phone, so it's gonna be vertical. Let me know what you think. There's the guy. He's filming them over his house right now, and you'll see them.
You can barely see him on the camera now. It's only 3 now.
But just like the Phoenix Lights, these ones kind of came in and out. But there is a moment where they start to reappear. Oh no! Did it already play through? Hang on, let me grab that again. Okay.
Man, what the fuck is that?
I have
so now you can see it better,
I'm about
right?
to get a closer up though.
It almost looks like Orion. So now look at that. Look at that formation, though. How does it go from that to that? It looked like the constellation Orion. And then it becomes a triangular formation, and then they begin to fade out and disappear.
You can barely see him on the camera now.
Right. So this is where we picked up where they
only 3 now.
Faded into the darkness. So watching that video, I I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. Now, do I think it was some sort of UFO or a span of UFOs? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if I don't know anything about these, you know, weather balloons or these flares that they put up into the atmosphere. If anybody knows about that, let me know in the comments. And just sort of indulge me by explaining a little bit of what that's for, how it works. Well, yeah, that video definitely not a plane, because I figure when, you know, but again, I'm not an expert. I don't know anything about meteorology or anything like that. But let's just say, you know, I've seen, you know, balloons that have gotten away from like a birthday party or something like that, and I mean they just fly around. Now, granted, I know these are much larger sort of weather balloons or whatever. Good point, Linda. Could be drones. Yeah, it could be drones, because drones you could put in that formation. But the intensity of lights, you know, the intensity of these lights coming from a drone, I mean, they'd have to be really strong LED, you know, lumens or something to shine that bright at that distance, you know, cutting through the fog and the atmosphere like that. They said it was the satellites moving. They said it was going to be happening, and they'd be asleep for about 15 minutes. Okay, so maybe it was satellites. I don't know, but how do satellites not move in orbit? You know what I mean? Like those things weren't really moving; they were stationary. And if that's, let's say, those were satellites in low Earth orbit, why are they in a triangle formation? I don't understand what that means. Now this oh, is that a real thing? Dr. Spot K? Because this was seen in Cleveland, Ohio on April 11th. Right, Cope. That was your Uber. That was your Uber showing up. But this happened on April 11th, just 10 days ago, in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, Jeffrey. So you have a friend that flies drones, but they're not that sound. Right. Again, James, flares. I don't know. Like, this to me, just, it doesn't seem like anything, you know, anything that at that level, at that distance, at that height, or what's it called? Altitude. Jesus, that's the word I'm looking for. At that altitude, can they sustain? Can drones sustain? Because I know there's like the jet stream and all that. They'd be fighting, I imagine, with all kinds of crazy wind and atmospheric interruptions and things like that up there. I just don't know. This is filmed in Hamtramck. There was a large funeral where they let off Chinese lanterns. Eric Schmidt. Okay, maybe it was. I don't know. This said it happened April 11th in Cleveland, Ohio. That's the notification in the story that I got. So maybe they're, you know, in different conflicting stories. I don't know, but that is what I saw, at least in that video, and it's weird. Whether, now, I'm not saying that stuff came from another galaxy or another planet. It still could be our stuff, right? Still could be our stuff that our government is testing right now. But it seems, you know, maybe more like now would be the time to start testing stuff in the air, because everybody's at home, nobody's out and about. So if they really wanted to test some crazy stuff going through the air, that now would maybe be the time, because they assume everybody's going to be inside. They're not out and about where they'd be likely looking up at the sky and potentially seeing something being tested. So, you know, I don't know. Just an idea, just a theory. Right. Okay, Avery. Lanterns, maybe. But how could you keep lanterns in a triangle formation? I don't know. And even then, let's just say they were strung together, like, you know, like chained together, not with chain, obviously, but, you know, connected so they could stay in a row. I would imagine, you know, to keep that same equidistance. But again, with the wind and stuff, how would they not get all tangled and turn into this fiery mess that would fall to the ground? I have no idea. But definitely bizarre and weird. Last week, though, speaking of bizarre and weird, last week we had homework, which is something we used to do when we made these videos. And if my memory serves me correctly, last week's homework was Dr. Sleep. We were talking about some weird stuff, and Dr. Sleep is certainly a very weird video. Now, Cleveland, probably a cloud of crack smoke. That's pretty funny. But Now, Doctor Sleep, it's the sort of unofficial sequel to The Shining. Now, I've talked about The Shining in my shows, in interviews, and probably on this chat before. The Shining is one of, if not my top favorite horror movie ever made. I remember seeing The Shining as a kid, and it freaked me out. So when Doctor Sleep came out, I was actually really hesitant to go see it. I don't know about you guys, but I was nervous about seeing Doctor Sleep. I didn't want to ruin my Kubrick, Shining memory. Really, it was Bob Lazar. It was Bob Lazar. I know I wanted to talk about Doctor Sleep too, but okay, we'll save Doctor Sleep for next week. Let's just say next week's going to be twofold: Doctor Sleep and what we're going to talk about next. So, Bob Lazar. Next week I'm gonna make a note because I lost my notes from last week. So next week next week's gonna be weird week. We're gonna go Doctor Sleep because obviously we'll still have time. Doctor Sleep, Bob Lazar, and this next thing that I'm gonna talk about. So James, you said Doctor Sleep. You found that the movie did the book some justice. I would hope so. But we can talk about Bob Lazar a little bit in just a moment. So let's back up. Let's talk about Bob Lazar because that helps fit into this sort of thing with these lights and everything. Now, how many of you guys watched the Jeremy Corbell Bob Lazar documentary? Just put a shout out in the chats, or if you watched any sort of documentary about Bob Lazar and learned about it and learned about what he did. Now, there's people that think that Bob Lazar was lying because there's some things that have come out where he described like the hand scanning device, and then it ends up that was part of a comic book from 1972 or whatever. There's these things that have come out to disprove what Bob Lazar was saying. However, I really think that things like that were actually put out into these media things because there's a theory out there that when like a theory in the universe that I've read about and I've talked to people about. There's this universal rule where the government or the cabal or whatever cannot do anything without saying they're going to do it first, and they hide it in movies, books, TV shows, art, music, all that kind of thing. So by us not protesting these things, we as a population are accepting it. I know that's, I hope I explained that correctly and in a way that's understandable. So I think things like when people disprove what Bob Lazar described or attempt to disprove what Bob Lazar claimed he saw by using these examples of, no, he probably subconsciously saw this thing in a comic book or in a movie, and it became like I forget what that term is called. Louis C.K. used it when he was describing how Dane Cook stole his comedy material. But basically, I kind of just call it Robin Williams syndrome, where you see something and you don't remember that you'd seen it before, and then it comes to your mind as your idea. You assume it as your idea. That's what people were kind of saying maybe Bob Lazar was doing. However, I think Bob Lazar was 100% telling the truth. And I don't know about you guys, but I think he 100% was. I think he totally was. Just the descriptions and the detail of it. Right, James. I've seen all these videos too, where these experts watch the body language and all of that, and he is telling the truth. Something like that. That he is telling the truth just by his body language, and I feel also just with the authority that he speaks, like the authority, the authoritative to the point way that he speaks of these subjects and these things that he saw, these projects that he worked on. I remember there was something I remember watching where if somebody's lying, they will inadvertently overtell and over-explain. I remember watching this on like some true crime documentary thing where the guy who killed his boss or whatever was was in custody and being, what's it called, interrogated. That's the word. He was being interrogated, questioned about where were you on the night or whatever. And instead of being, if he was telling the truth, he would have said, like, oh, I went to 7-Eleven and then I went to the movies and that's it. Well, what movie did you watch? Doctor Sleep. I liked it, or I didn't like it so much. Whereas, someone who's lying would say, like, well, I went to dinner and I remember I had grilled cheese sandwich because I love grilled cheese sandwiches. The peas were cold. I wish I wouldn't have gotten cold peas. I tried to return it, and they said that they, blah, blah, blah. And then I went and I tied my shoe because I remember I stepped in gum, and then I looked down and saw my shoe was untied, so that's why I tied my shoe. They over-explain step by step. And that's something that I don't think Bob Lazar was doing. I don't think, because he speaks with the authority and to the point, be inaccurate. Well, right, Eric Schmidt. He might be both telling the truth but still be inaccurate, I'm sure. And, Bob Lazar hasn't worked at S4 in years and years. That was back, when he was, just done working at S4. And now, who knows what they have. So that is probably old news to them. So him telling and coming out with these documentaries, that's probably why they're not trying to, assassinate him or take him out or anything like that. Because he, it's old news and old dead technology to them. I'm sure if it still came out today, that technology would be mind-blowing and crazy, right? So I think Bob Lazar is telling the truth. Definitely leads you further down the rabbit hole. All this stuff that Bob Lazar talks about definitely leads you further down the rabbit hole. And worth investigating if you're into that kind of thing. I find it super, extremely fascinating, all this Bob Lazar stuff. Let's jump to Dr. Sleep, which is going to be one part of the homework for next week. Let's go Dr. Sleep for next week, along with one other film. But Dr. Sleep, and this will make sense why these two will go together. Dr. Sleep, the sort of unofficial sequel to The Shining, one of my favorite horror movies, like I was saying just a minute ago, was and is The Shining. I should say, not in past tense, is The Shining. And I felt, Dr. Sleep, I actually really liked it. I found that there was some very interesting things hidden. Kind of getting back to what I was saying just a minute ago, this universal law that I was told about, where where they have to, in media or in art or music or whatever, this behind the scenes, deep dark cabal that is supposedly running everything, they have to put these things out into the world, and if we do not, as a population and as a species, if we do not protest or challenge it, that means they can get away with it. So with that being said, if you guys remember a couple weeks ago talking about all these children that are going missing all over the world, where are they going, what is happening, this trafficking weird ring where they take them to, like Pizzagate sort of thing. Pizzagate I think is real. I think at Bohemian Grove they're up to something weird, and even in all these other behind the scenes places in Hollywood and Washington, they're definitely getting on this adrenochrome thing. And I found that Dr. Sleep was very similar to this sort of adrenochrome aspect. So if you watch Dr. Sleep and put that together with this theory of the adrenochrome theory, I guess. I don't want to call it anything too much because I'm eventually going to start putting this stuff up on YouTube and whatnot. I don't want it to get taken down, so I'm not sure if that's a trigger word where it's going to get taken down if I keep saying adrenochrome. So Dr. Sleep, if you haven't seen it, I was actually really impressed and pleased with Dr. Sleep. I was really against it because I loved the Kubrick film of The Shining. Hang on, let me put this up. And I'm saying Dr. Sleep is going to be a must-watch. I loved Dr. Sleep. I was really impressed. I thought it was well done. Who is that guy? Ewan McGregor? Who's the guy that plays Danny Torrance as an adult? I've never really been a fan of his. What's that actor's name? I forget. I should look it up right now. But if someone can look it up, throw it in the chat. I've never really been a fan of his. I didn't watch any of those new Star Wars, and I wasn't really into. I don't find him fascinating as an actor. He's fine. I don't know. I know he was also part of that weird. Was he in? He was in Charlie's Angels. That's right. That new Charlie's Angels that they tried to put out, and then it didn't do good, and then they blamed. They blamed people on not liking movies with chicks in it or something like that. I don't know. Who was the lady that tries to do comedy and then she decided to direct the new Charlie's Angels? I can't remember what it was. And I'm not saying this because I'm not like a misogynist or anything like that. But like it was a terrible movie, just like Ghostbusters. They were all terrible. Like just what's wrong with the Drew Barrymore Charlie's Angels was awesome. Like I love that one. But yeah, Ewan McGregor. Anyways, I got off on a tangent. Ewan McGregor. He sucks. I just don't think he's good at all. I don't find him that great of an actor. But I thought he did do well in Dr. Sleep. I thought he did fine. Could there have been somebody else that played it better? Danny Torrance? Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I would have thought of tons of people that would have been a better Danny Torrance as an adult. But I think all in all, he did fine. And I think the movie still is a must-watch. Definitely worth watching Dr. Sleep. And so that is going to be part of the homework for next week. And the homework, the second part of the homework for next week is a documentary again. If you guys haven't figured out, I'm really into documentaries. Hang on. And so I came across, this has been going around. You guys have maybe heard about this already. This documentary. It's been going around. Tons of people have been sending me emails and messages about it. It's a documentary that came out on YouTube called Out of Shadows. You guys can watch it on YouTube for free. Actually, I'm gonna put the link to it in the chat right now. You can watch Out of Shadows right there for free. It might get taken down. Who knows? And it starts out a bit religious, like I guess you could say. It starts out a little religious, like, but it still is worth the watch. I've been, in entertainment. I have not been involved to the level where a lot of this is going, but I think I 100% have seen enough and been around enough to where I believe this is all 100% true, and it's definitely going on. And this gets back to what I was saying with Dr. Sleep and Bob Lazar and putting stuff out there. So check out this. Check out the trailer for Out of Shadows. Check this out. It's weird.
Hey, have a safe trip, everybody.
That's good right there. Just picking up speed. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
The past 28 years, I've probably had one of the coolest jobs in the world.
U.S. intelligence was using motion pictures to alter the thinking of Americans in the United States.
There's a very small group of people that influence all the companies that we watch.
Exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Just disconnect for 5 minutes to figure out, what if I've been lied to? What if?
I started working in journalism at a very young age.
A lot of uninformed, gullible people fell for the Clinton-Podesta sex ring theory.
I miss
Entire mainstream media redefined what Pizzagate was to make it sound ridiculous and less believable.
This is insane.
So many people in the mainstream media have said Pizzagate is a conspiracy theory. Pizzagate has been debunked. It has not been debunked.
To be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia.
Or does it?
So in one of the emails, John Podesta is talking about pizza. He's Italian and Greek, I mean, and a very good cook.
Other ones like The realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. And another one is Obama spent $65,000 flying in pizza and hot dogs from Chicago. Are we using the same channels?
Investigators have already proven there's nothing to the story, right? Well, actually, no. And that's what you need to know. For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one.
So, like I said, it actually starts out a bit religious-like, but it's this documentary made by this dude who was a Hollywood stuntman. And he started to see some of this weird stuff going on, and he did a lot of research, and it gets super, super weird. It's definitely worth checking out. I highly recommend it. This is not something to get political either. I'm not trying to get political. I'm libertarian, so, whatever. I'm not about that, but it is worth watching because I know, and call me a weirdo, call me a tinfoil hat conspiracy person, which if you're calling me that now and you're only figuring it out now, then I don't know what to tell you because that's been me for a long time. But I definitely think it's 100% happening and 100% real and worth looking into this documentary Out of the Shadows, because then once you watch that and you go back and watch like Dr. Sleep or some of the Bob Lazar stuff or any of that, it gets but it gets out there. It gets way out there. I totally think it's true. Even if you watch the documentary, I think it's called Why Johnny Can't Come Home. If this all starts to add up, it gets super weird. Like I 100% think that it's for real and it's a thing for sure, 100%. So that's on the homework for next week. Dr. Sleep and the Out of Shadows documentary. I put it in the chat, but I'll drop it one more time in case people missed it. Check this out. Boom. One more in the chat. There's the link. Check it out. Definitely worth watching. I've seen some people in the chat have already said that they've come across it, they've watched it, and yeah, it's very fascinating. Who Took Johnny? Thank you, Kyle. That's what it's called. Not Why Johnny Can't Come Home, or Who Took Johnny. Yeah, it's super crazy. You can find it on Amazon, I think, or something like that. I don't have Netflix or any of that anymore. I don't subscribe to those things, but definitely worth looking up and checking out. And Angel Rooney, you've worked in local news for 20 years. Where are you from, Angel Rooney? If I can ask, what part of the country or part of the world you're from, where you've worked in the news? And we're moving right along. This is doing good. This is doing good because we're coming up to Teach a Trick time. That's right. It's Teach a Trick time soon, kids. This one is actually going to be super easy. It's not a card trick. You can use, basically, again, things that... Oh, Amarillo. Oh, you saw me in Amarillo at the tattoo convention. Oh, right on, right on. Well, I bet if you're in the news in Amarillo, I bet there's tons of stuff. I mean, you got Roswell right there. You got Dulce not far either. There's tons of weird stuff going on down near Amarillo, you know, in that whole area, that whole section. But yes, James, it's about Johnny Gosh. Yeah. Who Took Johnny is about Johnny Gosh. That's what that one's about. So, anyways, moving on though, it's Teach a Trick time. This is one that you guys can do very easily, where all you need is a pen and you need a coin of some kind. I'm going to be using a $50 to show you the trick, but a quarter works or anything like that. So sit back and get excited for Teach a Trick time. Okay, so Teach a Trick time, everybody. It's time for Teach a Trick time, where I teach you how to do a magic trick. So I'm going to be using this big pen right here. Big pen, and this coin is a $50 coin. I have to stand up for this because it's going to be easier to see. So I'm just going to make an adjustment here. So my head's going to be cut off, but this is the vanishing coin. It's really easy. Or if you have a magic wand, you can use a magic wand, but it is a real $50, but like I said, you can use a coin, you can use a bottle cap or a pog, whatever you have that you have lying around, something, something solid. You're going to make it disappear, and the pen is going to act as the magic wand, okay? Don't have a magic wand lying around. If you have a real magician's magic wand lying around, you can use that instead. But basically, the coin's going to go here on my hand, and I'm going to tap the coin, and on the third tap, watch the coin, because it's actually going to disappear right before your very eyes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The coin didn't disappear, but the pen did, I guess. Okay, it's a joke. The pen, I tucked it behind my glasses. It's a joke. It's a joke. All right, but anyway, so the coin. Ready? 1, 2, and and that's how you make the coin actually disappear for real. Magic show. Okay, so here's how it works. This is an old trick. I remember learning this when I was a kid. This is a good one. I used to do this at school a lot. So basically, you need a pen, like I said, and you need a coin, and you already can figure out where it's been with that little shot. So you need a coin, like I said, or something similar. Exactly like everybody's saying in the chat. A pog, bottle cap, whatever. Using a 50-cent piece and a big pen or something similar. You can use a pencil. Whatever you got that's similar. So all you're going to do when you show this to people is you're going to draw attention to the coin and keep repeating. You're going to make the coin disappear. By tapping the pen, on the third time, the coin's going to disappear. So when you're showing this to everybody, you're going to show it to them like how I'm showing you right now in the chat. You want them on the same side of the shoulder of the same arm and hand that the coin is facing. Okay, so the pen is going to be in your hand that's farthest away from them, okay? So you're going to tap the pen, 1, 2, 3, and it's going to disappear. You want to keep drawing attention to the coin, keep watching the coin, because on the third tap, it's going to disappear. And you keep doing this motion, and you keep doing it at the same length or distance to where you can tuck the coin behind your ear, or in this case, I just sort of shoved it in my headphones, behind my sunglasses, right? So you're going to say 1, 2, and on the third time, you're going to shove it up behind your ear or in, behind the headphones in this case. But generally you put this inside your glasses frame or behind your ear, something like that with a pen or pencil. So you go 1, 2, tuck it back inside behind your ear, and 3, and the pen disappears. Now because your face, I'm having to turn to talk to you guys, but because your face here is facing away, this side of your face is away from whoever you're showing this to, they won't see the pen right away. Because all of their focus is here, it's going to look like the pen disappeared. Then you turn around and you say, "Oh no, I'm just joking." You see, the pen actually went back here. I was messing with you, and you take the pen out. As you do that, you're actually just going to ditch the coin in your pocket when it's facing away from everybody. So you ditch the coin in your pocket, and you come back like you have the coin still in your hand, right? Just don't do that. So you can keep your hand closed, or just kind of keep it open a little bit where they can't see down into your hand. I kind of do something like this, like I'm shaking it to get it adjusted. And then I say, "Oh, but now the coin has actually disappeared." Or you can come back with your hand and say, "But instead of a tap, we'll just wave," and the coin disappears. And it's really just in your pocket. This is a good trick to do if you're out at a bar or at a social gathering or something where you borrow the coin. Let's say you borrow a quarter from somebody and you borrow a pen or a pencil and you make the coin disappear with the gag. And then you say, "Oh no, the pencil is actually here behind my ear." To really make the coin disappear, we have to give it a wave, and it disappears, and then you never bring it back. So now you've just made a quarter all by yourself. Now you're 25 cents richer. You're welcome. So that's the easy teach a trick for this week using a coin and a pen, the vanishing coin, or whatever you want to call it. Super easy trick to do. Just remember, practice. You want to maybe practice in a mirror. Don't tell anybody how it works, because that's the whole point of the magic trick. And if anything, you'll make some extra money that you can go buy go buy a soda or whatever with it. I don't know, whatever you're into. So now that that's over and you guys have learned a new little trick. It's time for new magic time. Since we're on the subject of magic, it's new magic time. And Marie, yes, that is a Seinfeld poofy shirt behind me. I'll next week. I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna tell the story of that next week. Puffy shirt story. Okay, written it down. I got it in the notes. I'm gonna talk about the puffy shirt next week. So right now, though, it's time for new magic time. If you guys remember, each week we do a new magic premiere where I show you guys a fun new little magic trick or whatever, maybe a video of something I'm working on or something I do. But this week I'm going to be performing it for you through the screen, and that means it is now new magic trick time. Yay! Wasn't that fun? Time for new magic. Now, in order to show you new magic, I have to adjust the camera. Don't. It's not like that. I have to adjust the camera a little bit and bring my little magic table into view. I'm going to use my little magic table here because you have to see what's going on. And so this is a magic trick that's actually also a story. It's a story that's based on a legend, and it's actually about vampires. Ooh, spooky, boys and girls. So this is about vampires, and this box, this old wooden box, is going to represent a coffin. Because, you know, vampires, they live in their coffins, and that's where they go to sleep during daylight hours. So this coffin, this is an old wooden box, and you can see it actually has Dracula's crest on it. Ooh, because Dracula is the most famous vampire ever. He could turn into a bat. He would fly around all over the Transylvanian countryside, and when he was done doing Dracula vampire stuff, biting necks and carrying on, he'd fly back as a bat, turn back into himself as the sun was coming up, hop into his coffin, and he'd go to sleep. So this is Dracula's coffin. This is going to represent Dracula's coffin, but he's not going to go to sleep in there just yet. I'm going to close up the coffin, and I'm going to leave it here. Instead, we're going to do something with these 5 cards. As you can see, I have Dracula. There's a picture of Dracula on this card. Now, if you guys have studied or know anything about vampires, especially Dracula, you know he is not only the most famous vampire, he's also the most powerful. So, you know, you don't want to look him in the eyes. You don't want to go anywhere near him. And the only thing that is the most effective against a vampire like Dracula is a cross. The sign of the cross. That's the most strong thing that you can have against a vampire. So we're going to place Dracula here on the table. And just in true vampire, you know, repellent form, we're going to surround him. That's what guys like Van Helsing would do. He was known for hunting vampires. Van Helsing would hunt them around. So these crosses are, we're going to be Van Helsing, and these crosses are going to represent us as Van Helsing encircling Dracula so that he can't get away with the crosses. So now we have him caught. We have him trapped, just like what we do in Fortnite, where we have to go around and sort of surround people and try and take them out. But you don't want to get too close to Dracula, right, boys and girls? Because if you get too close, he'll bite you on the neck, and then that will leave these bite marks. Wait a minute, but where did Dracula go? It'll leave these bite marks, and Dracula will get away. Where does Dracula go? Well, Dracula goes back into his coffin where he was safely sleeping this whole time. Ooh, and then there's Dracula back in his coffin. So that's the new magic time for this week, boys and girls, and I hope you enjoyed my little performance of Dracula magic, vampire Dracula magic this week for the new magic time. So that's the trick. This week, by the way, my coffee mug is one of my favorite law firms out of LA. They have a place here in Vegas. It's Greenberg Torig. Highly recommended, Greenberg Torig. If you have any needs legally of a certain demeanor, thank you, Greenberg Torig, for all your work and for the lovely coffee mug. So that's the new magic time for this week. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, that's right. Talking about my t-shirt, real quick, I'm going to drop this video link in the chat. We're going to play this at the end of the chat that we're coming up to. This is a link to watch a new music video that just came out by my buddies in the band Kissing Candice. They put out a song called Magic Show. Go figure, right? And hopefully, hang on. I can't type. There. Boom. And we're going to put it up right now. Bingo. Kissy Candice, new music video premiere. They came to my Black Magic Wednesday show and filmed a couple spots that they interwove and made as part of the music video for this single that they just released called Magic Show. And so go and look up Kissing Candice, give them a follow. This is one of their shirts, the Goosebumps shirt. We're going to bring the music video in here at the end and leave the chat with that so you guys can watch the whole thing at the end of the live chat here. But yeah, Kissing Candice. We also have a quick sneak preview that I'm going to play right now of Anti-Conjuror story time. I think the video is finally live. I had some problems with my internet connection yesterday when I was trying to upload it. But we do have a preview for Anti-Conjuror story time for this week's that I believe is live right now on my YouTube. But please go on that, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that. And yeah, and we should be set for Anti-Conjuror story time this week. Here's the preview for this week's Anti-Conjuror story time.
Oh, hello. I didn't hear you come in. And welcome to Anti-Conjuror story time with me, shock illusionist Dan Sperry, the Anti-Conjuror. Welcome back, boys and girls, to episode 2. In this episode, I'm going to be reading you Brave Cowboy Bill, a 1950 classic from the Little Golden Book series.
So that's it. It's Brave Cowboy Bill. I talked about it a bit last week. Brave Cowboy Bill is going live today. I'm going to double check on it as soon as we're done with the chat here. For next week, the book that's being read is Here Comes the Parade. So get excited, because Here Comes the Parade is what's in the kitty and ready to go for this coming week. Another Little Golden Books classic, Here Comes the Parade. That's coming out. That's going to be launching for this coming week. So a week from today, I guess. Or I'm going to shoot for Sunday again. I'm going to try to make all of the new Anti-Conjuror story time videos come out on Sundays. Okay. So we had, some technical difficulties. It should be up now. I know I got a notification. It's already been demonetized because apparently I can't play Vivaldi's 4 Seasons in my video, which to me that seems really weird, but whatever. I guess that's what's happening there. So yeah, so now we're just about done here. We're gonna do a quick Q&A right now. Time for the Q&As. I've seen some stuff coming through the chats right now. We'll take a couple of them before it's time to close out this week's live chat. So go ahead, start dropping the questions in the chat. I'll jump to and grab some of them that I can, and then we'll close out with that, and then with some of the Kissing Candice Magic Show music video. And there's a bit of a delay, so this may be slightly delayed here. Robbie William Ford, love those card faces, very cool. Oh, thanks. I made these in Photoshop. I printed them on label paper and then just stuck them to my In Matorum deck. By the way, if you want this deck of cards, not this one with the Dracula and stuff on it, if you want the real In Matorum deck of cards, you can go to dansperrystore.com. There's tons of good stuff on there right now. I'll drop that in the chat. And boom, dansperrystore.com. That's where you can find all of the goodies. I got one from Jerry Kaufman. Other than magic, what is your favorite thing to do? I really like to I like to play my bass guitar. That's sort of like always been a thing that I've been into and been playing since I was in middle school. I started playing bass guitar in concert band in middle school when I was 12 years old, and so I've been playing ever since. Just noodle around, and usually I play with I'll put on tracks on like YouTube or something, and then play along on my bass, because I don't really have a band or anybody to jam with. So if you're ever in Vegas and you play an instrument, and drums, guitar, whatever, hit me up and maybe we'll jam or something like that. Robert Paul McKinnon, what are some other bands you enjoy? My musical taste is actually pretty diverse. I mean, I'll listen to everything from The Doors, Ramones, Misfits, to Frank Sinatra. I love Frank Sinatra. I'm a big Frank Sinatra fan, and I'm really into bands. Like one of my go-to bands a lot is Fiddler, Fidlar. I really enjoy Fiddler. I think they're great. And yeah, I mean, just a lot of stuff. That One Guy is great. He's another musician that's really interesting. I'm gonna put him in the chat. This is how you have to type it out. It's that, the number 1, and then the word guy, all as one word. That One Guy. He's somebody that I've been watching for a long time, and he's actually a very good musician and magician. I've known that One Guy for years, for like 10 years or so, and he's extremely talented. If when things start happening and he's touring again, if he comes to your town, you should definitely look up That One Guy. Yeah, so I think we've hit our hour, man. Honestly, I thought I would always try and keep these to like 30, 45 minutes. Somehow we always end up doing an hour. I don't know what that's about, but I guess there's always stuff to talk to, and the hour goes by fast. I hope you guys aren't bored by any of this. Hopefully this doesn't bore you or anything like that. And yeah, Tuesdays as well. I think Tuesdays are good for the chat. 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is my time. Hopefully that works good for everybody. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to this week. So that's a wrap for this week's live chat. Again, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, interacting. Thanks, guys, for being great fans too. I really have the coolest fans, I feel, and not just in magic, but in entertainment. You guys are awesome. If you didn't see the painting I put up a few days ago, I took a picture of me with a painting by a really talented guy named Sebastian Nabel. And one of my Germany tours, it was autographed by all the fans, all the Abrica Bastards that came to the show. I mean, the stuff that you guys do, the tattoos, all of that, it's crazy. It's amazing, and I appreciate it so much. So thanks, guys, for being awesome. Hope you have a good week, and hopefully we'll see you guys down on the down the road at some point. So stick around for the music video magic show. We'll see you guys next week. Gute Nacht. How do I do this? There we go. And here is the official Kissing Candace magic show.
Down your spine. You're living life on my time. And if you don't believe what your eyes are
Okay, here's one more for the road so you guys can see a fun little magic trick with my little friend. And that's it. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.